My personal favorite character in the entire Firefly trilogy from Rob Zombie is Otis B. Driftwood. Otis! There's very little known about Otis B. Driftwood and his upbringing, but the little glimpse we do have is very quite disturbing. What up, y'all? Welcome back to Phantom of the Indie Review. It is your host, Ratty, and today we are talking about what I just fucking said we were talking about in the intro. We're on the cusp of 3,000 subscribers, so if you want to ride the famous murder ride and have yourself a bag of fried chicken, come and hang out. Legend has it that Otis was born in 1929. He was horribly neglected and abused by his parents, who didn't even give him a name. And he committed his first murder at the age of 14, the victims being his parents. And though there's very little known about that, it is a very disturbing origin. And then he grew up, did some crazy stuff, and that's when he entered into Rugsville, became friends with Captain Spaulding and the family, and created the cult of Firefly, essentially. If you want more in-depth information about that, check out my Captain Spaulding video. I mean, there are so many disturbing things about this movie, from the atmosphere, to the sadistic comedy of the family, and to the very insane supernatural aspect. But personally, one of my favorite parts with Otis is attached to one of the most disturbing scenes in the entire movie, and that is the Fishboy scene. I feel like this scene is so much more disturbing in many ways. As we know, the 4 victims that get lured into the Firefly's household all succumb to some great torments, but I feel like Bill, the one that gets turned into the Fishboy, gets it the worst. Just the sheer imagery of Fishboy just traumatized me as a kid. You know and love our boy Rainn Wilson from things such as The Office, The Rocker, a phenomenal actor, a very stand-up gentleman, but he gets tormented in this movie brutally. But since Otis's murderous tendency merged Bill into this Fishboy that's very supernatural and dark and like sideshow attraction-y terrifying, just really struck a nerve. Liking these videos go a long way. And Otis is such a very interesting character with his monologues, his little homemade video vlogs that he makes throughout the movie, his psychotic and crazy mind that is self-indulged and thinks that it's more genius than what anyone else has to say, very narcissistic psychopath behavior, but deeply rooted in some crazy shit. One of the scariest parts to me is the reveal. Essentially, yeah, the 4 victims of the Fireflies get put through hell the entire movie. Denise, she gets tortured by knowing her father's dead. Jerry gets mentally tormented, and Mary has probably one of the most actual visceral, brutal kills of the movie. But the fact that they start off with Fishboy as the main one, it's the most interesting and scary in concept. And the fact that Mary is sitting there tied up in her chair and has to witness her boyfriend displayed to her in some sort of freak show attraction is very haunting. And now I have an irrational fear of the song Brick House. It's supposed to be a fun, seductive, chill song that you dance in the club with your boys with. And now every time I hear, she's a brick house, I get fucking shivers down my spine. And Otis goes on to be such an influential character throughout the trilogy, changing more so in The Devil's Reject. Rob Zombie changed him to be more grounded for that movie, because as we know, that movie has more of a grounded reality to it. But in the first one, it's clear to see that our man Otis B is albino, and he said in the first movie he was very cartoony and villainous, and in the second movie he decided to make him more gritty. And I feel like Otis, as this ringleader, has this control over this family, but obviously it's not like a Stockholm Syndrome thing where they were influenced by him. They were just as crazy. I mean, look at Captain Spaulding's history. It's just a bunch of random madmen formed a family. I feel like one of the most unnerving aspects of the fact that Bill gets tortured and killed this way right out of the gates after they let the other 3 survive is the fact that when they do break down and go to the house and Baby is kind of flirting with him and crushing on him, it is very uneasy. I feel like in any other situation you'd see that, and yes, he was taken, he is dating Mary, he is a bit socially awkward, he is nerdy and respectful, but the fact that we see him being flirted with and like gawked at and made to be eye candy by Baby is very haunting and disturbing in the context of the film. It's like they knew that he had something about him, more backbone and structure than the other characters, that they just picked him off right off the bat. And I always found that interaction with him and Baby to be very disturbing. Especially nowadays with dating and shit, you're on Tinder, if people are flirting with you and being nice, what if they're like trying to fuck with you? But that's a whole different story entirely. And the brutality of Fishboy is such a strong and lasting scene. Like, the imagery of it is just quality content. It's brutal, it's scary. But yeah, Otis really does flirt that line of charming and deranged as hell Bill Moseley was the perfect casting for this character, and I'm really glad that he was introduced into this franchise. I really loved him as Chop Top in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. So if you want me to do a video about Chop Top or all of Bill Moseley's characters, comment down below. If you want me to do a video about the expansion of the Fireflies, I've been talking a lot about House of a Thousand Corpses. If you want me to do the Devil's Rejects, let a boy know. The comment section's there for a reason. It's a graveyard right now. But yeah, guys, that's the review. Subscribe, hit that ding-a-ling button or else you're telling you, hey, it's me, I'm here. Give me a thumber. And I'm gonna say it one time for the one time and two time for the O's. Give me a hell yeah for what? Horror.
These are all my dolls. I used to like chop their heads off and their arms and stick them up on the wall.